There we go. All right, today's agenda. So we're going to do an intro as always for any of our new friends that have just joined so that you can know who is on this call today. We're going to do a basic overview, recap of Crypto Giving Tuesday. Happy Giving Tuesday week, everybody. I hope you are planning on a restful weekend ahead. I know it's a wild week in the nonprofit sector and we are just getting started. So we'll look back and then most importantly, we will look ahead because these next 4 weeks are where it's at. And then we'll of course leave some time for Q&A and then have your final calls to action and closing. Really important to note in the Q&A piece, we actually are going to review some of our most frequently asked questions before we get to that time. So hopefully we'll get through everything with you. But we want you to be sure to put your questions in the actual Q&A portion instead of in the chat. The chat will keep for the fun commentary, but if you can go ahead and put those questions in the actual Q&A portion, that'll help us keep track of everything and make sure we get everything answered for everyone. All right, so we've got our very own Pat Duffy here, our co-founder today, who actually, fun fact, just got the 30 under 30 Forbes recognition for social impact. So congrats to Pat and Alex, our other co-founder. And then Rochelle, many of you know Rochelle, our client success manager, and myself, your other client success manager.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Glad you're here.
All right. Basic overview. Pat, do you want to take this one away?
Yeah, I apologize for any noises people are hearing. It's incredibly loud in the building, and then I walk outside and there's construction. So always fun. But yeah, just wanted to hit on some of these key parts. Like this is an interesting, and we're grateful to have this problem, but an interesting problem to be having where we have new nonprofits coming in, of course. We have nonprofits we worked with for 3 years. They've built a program up long term. And then there's a lot going on, of course. We have new fundraisers going on this month, new partnerships, new ways to fundraise. So just to get everyone synced up and on the same page, we won't spend too much time on this since obviously most of the client base is already aware, but just wanted to hit on the basics. So as we go through this presentation, components to be thinking about, the client success team has a function to answer your questions from a technical standpoint, onboarding, all that good stuff, and then also the fundraising component. They meet kind of these two separate needs. Rochelle and Emily in particular are amazing at fundraising cryptocurrency. They're two of the preeminent crypto fundraising experts on the planet. We've also got Reggie and Antonisha and other folks on the support side, like Adonis, to answer your questions from a technical standpoint. Just kind of remember where everyone sits within the department. You can always ask us who's the best person to bring your questions to. End of your toolkits. If you're not using them, make sure to check in with those. Remembering that Crypto Giving Tuesday is just the kickoff of a month-long campaign, and the vast majority of donation volume we receive in December happens after that day because it is tax offset giving. And most people look at a nonprofit, they want to give, but they end up talking to a tax advisor and coming back, a week, 2 weeks later after they've made a more kind of large financial decision. So keep checking in with those toolkits. Remember, you can apply a lot of the learnings to the other hashtags, the other campaigns, the other dates of fundraising. We target those things a lot around Crypto Giving Tuesday, but it doesn't take a ton of creativity. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Go back to that toolkit. Think about how you can apply those learnings throughout the rest of the month. The Crypto Giving Pledge is the pledge that Tony Hawk, Rainn Wilson from the celebrity side have taken, and a lot of the millionaire, billionaires, and high net worth, high power companies in the crypto space. We're getting a lot of signups now, dozens of signups on the day that we consider high value, which is driving a lot of pledge volume that we're going to be reeling in throughout the rest of the month. That's something to keep in mind just as a part of your plans, not only to stay in tune with that pledge and who's signing up for it, but also just to be aware this is a tool that you can use, asking donors to take the pledge on your behalf to lock them in for a more long-term relationship. Just because a lot of the times you're asking for a crypto donation, it's on the fly. It's not like a monthly giving type donation. It's an annual thing. So it's nice to lock in a long-term relationship. Cause funds and the Crypto Adoption Fund. We'll get into the definitions a bit more on these, but these are pools where donors can give to pools of our charities with a click, which is an exciting development because we've always had donors who come through and give like 13 at a pop. And then on this right side here, there's a lot of stuff we're doing behind the scenes that is driving in a lot of this volume. First year we're ever running ads for end of year fundraising, which is super exciting. We had 120 nonprofits last year. We just got over 1,000. So the company is growing super fast. We're excited about it. We're investing that money back into the client success team, into growing the donation pools as well. A big part of that is going to be running ads like the main crypto news outlets. They're doing interview series. They're driving a lot of the folks from those crypto-centric audiences onto the platform to make gifts to the nonprofits that we support. Corporate philanthropy programs of the companies. We have a ton of companies, exchanges, NFT platforms that want to do giving days, not just on the main campaigns, but find ways to activate their teams, their audiences, and their leadership and their brand. We're working a lot of those behind the scenes. Donor and influencer activations, pretty point blank. Integrations, we're building everything from the donate crypto buttons you see on exchanges and DeFi stuff like 1inch, all the way to like integrated giving platforms like the one you see on Bybit, where they can literally go through an API integrated version of our aggregator of charities and make individual gifts like they're on the givingblock.com. We've got more of those coming. Very exciting. I shouldn't take a deep breath, but it's a good problem to have. Lots of those in the works where, I mean, of course, incredibly grateful for that. So it's going to be amazing in December. We're setting ourselves up for a really good Q1 and forward in 2022 as we keep growing the pool. And then fundraisers, of course, a lot that you'll see going on. And then those immersive landing pages and experience, we're going to be doubling down. We don't want to break the site, obviously, now in the month of December, but on sort of fundraising transparency and interactive stuff for the donors. You've seen our leaderboards for the campaign. We've never had that before. We've literally just had a website where people come and they send crypto into a widget and then they check in on how the campaign is doing. We're growing up a little bit. So those leaderboards around different types of crypto communities will keep expanding throughout the month. And then as we get into Q1, we'll have more there. So that's just kind of a level set, all of the components that go into this end of year campaign, all the things that you have at your disposal and the things we're doing behind the scenes, in addition to knowing that you have different folks on our team, you can hit up 4 different things. If you ever have a question on that, you can always hit up Emily or Rochelle, just be like, hey, I want to make sure I'm bringing the right questions to the right people so you can get them answered as efficiently as possible. That's like 85 things on one slide, but hopefully helpful as we, I guess, jump ahead to the next one. We hit on these things, but these are sort of the donor funnels, as we refer to them internally, for everyone to be aware of. Crypto Giving Pledge, again, that is a tool that you all can use too. Experiment with different messaging. It doesn't have to be give us crypto right now. Remember, again, it is a tax offset opportunity, and the average gift size on Giving Tuesday, we'll get into this, was $12,600. This year, it's been a little under $11,000 on the platform. So these tend to be, not $20 every hour here and there like a credit card. These are more long form, long tail relationships, and they should be nurtured as such. I would experiment with some posts around getting people to take the pledge on your behalf and seeing if you can lock in some donors. If you have a good donor relationship with someone who's giving you crypto, I would take a stab at that, trying to lock them into the pledge, so long as you think it's in keeping with the way that they give to you currently, and it wouldn't somehow impact your results in a negative way. It's just a good way to experiment with different ways to ask people in the crypto community to support your organization. And then we touched on all these other things, frankly. Crypto Giving Tuesday being the kickoff, though, bag season being the month-long campaign in December, and then NF Tuesday is on Tuesday of this coming week. We're doing our first one ever. We've got a Sotheby's auction, which is amazing. That's been ongoing and running. And then we've got a series of NFT drops and artists and platforms dedicating their fees to the charities we support. Hopefully a decent chunk will be coming through the Crypto Adoption Fund, which is, of course, supporting all the charities on the platform. So we can jump to the next one. Also, sorry if you guys are hearing nothing but construction. Crypto Adoption Fund, cause funds, Crypto Giving Pledge. I kind of jumped the gun providing these definitions. I'm not even sure we need this slide duplicative, but if any of y'all on the call, of course, have questions about this, let us know.
Yeah.
And we can provide some more write-ups on the individual components.
And this slide deck will be shared with the recording. And so be sure to click on some of these links. Like if you do want to drive a donor to the Crypto Giving Pledge page, that is linked out on here for you. All right, the fun stuff.
All right, digging in. Sorry, I'm like out of breath too. I'm trying to like run from all the loud noises, just walking too fast to talk. So Crypto Giving Tuesday was dramatically more successful than we thought it would be, which is mind-boggling just because we've already had an amazing year. You know, we're getting millions of dollars in crypto donation volume month over month. Last year, we raised 4.2 million total, which we'll dig into a little bit. So a lot of amazing stuff is happening, but generally speaking, we've always used Crypto Giving Tuesday as like a billboard, an awareness campaign for the month of December. Again, it's tax offset giving. So it is like one of the best days, if not the best day, to get in front of crypto donors, get those conversations going, get our inbox flooded with like tax offset opportunity questions, financial advisors, tax software companies, platforms who want to do partnerships. They're like, hey, what's going on? What is this bag season thing? How do we get involved? And then we just keep ramping it up. Usually every week following it, in the month of December, we tend to raise more. We, of course, have only existed for a little less than 4 years, so we don't have like a ton of historical data, but those trends have been super solid and consistent. So to be able to kick it off with 2.4 million on the day, it's really rare and hard to just get a crypto donor to just see you and on the fly give you money immediately without those tax and financial considerations. So the ability to reel in that even small sliver of the million plus impressions that we had yesterday is absurdly exciting. And we're pumped about that, in addition to the hundreds of inquiries we're getting from high net worth donors and companies who want to do something big over the course of the month. And then the people taking the pledge, of course, as they make their considerations. Average donation size is up, which continues to blow our minds. Again, after a year, we've had almost an $11,000 average donation size. 12,600 is absurd. I think the average in the nonprofit marketplace, I can't remember if it's Bloomerang or whose report it was, but the best number I can find is $128 for the average digital or online gift made to nonprofits. So it's almost 100 times that, which is amazing. It means they're less frequent, of course, but the overall pool is significantly larger. Obviously, a lot more nonprofits. Hello. Thank you for being on the call. And then partnerships we're kicking off on the day. You're going to see, if you're following kind of crypto newsletters, if you're on coindesk.com, you start going across the ecosystem. Banners getting donated and dedicated, newsletters getting taken over to support the charities, on-platform integrations and fundraisers. We've got an amazing month lined up, and it drove in, I would say, as much inquiries on the day of Crypto Giving Tuesday up until now as we've probably had in the month and a half leading up to it. So just like an explosion of interest in all of the sorts of ways that you would want it. Influencers, companies, and high net worth individuals or their advisors wanting to get in touch with us and figure out how do they do this crypto donations thing in a way that benefits them and their clients. We're super pumped and have a lot more work to do, which is good. And then ETH Flip Bitcoin. That was the big story of the day. We used to literally call this campaign Bitcoin Tuesday. We changed it to Crypto Giving Tuesday this year. I avoid saying that with our clients going into it. We just pretended it never happened because we were worried about confusing everyone and them still posting Bitcoin Tuesday. We rebranded because of the rise of the NFT movement and all of these other things happening in the community that have driven explosive growth in the price action, but also just the community and how big Ethereum has become. It's always been number two and like a really big deal, but this year, quite literally on Crypto Giving Tuesday, more Ethereum was donated than Bitcoin. In the years past, it's been overwhelmingly Bitcoin donations that have led the way. It's an exciting development, and it means that this whole cryptocurrency ecosystem is blossoming into a more multifaceted one. All of those mean more verticals for growth and hopefully a lot more donation volume. The volatility that we're seeing in the market too is obviously what drives the donations, because if the price goes up and down, people buy when it's down, they sell when it's up. That's what creates a tax incentive and a capital gains to offset with the donation. We're seeing a lot of that, and it's super exciting. So we can jump to the next one. Okay, so here are the numbers that, of course, I mean, clients wouldn't be privy to, but this is like the behind the scenes exact sort of calculation how this is going. We're really intent on growing the platform at a rate where kind of the rise in our client growth doesn't outpace the rise in donation volume. And then the ability for small and mid-sized nonprofits, in addition to the big ones who crush it, to do really well and very consistently develop a 5-figure plus program over the course of any calendar year. This year, we're way beyond on pace to do that. And I'm sure groups that have been with us for 6 months plus are already aware of this, but we've had explosive client growth, but like dramatically more explosive donation volume growth. So you can see the 8.39x increase on the number of clients. 24.5 X increase on the dollars raised to date versus last year at this time. So again, we usually raise more in the month of December and by a pretty decent margin. We'll see if it holds when the ecosystem is this big, which is why we have the 100 million target, but we should pretty much only be about halfway to our $100 million goal right now. We should have about half of the opportunities coming through in the month of December. This is now after the advent of our cause funds and our crypto adoption fund, meaning a lot more of these donations are going to end up in pools that benefit broader lists of charities rather than getting every $1 million crypto donor to make an individual nonprofit decision, we think is unnecessarily burdensome and kind of sends capital in the wrong directions. But in short, if you look at that third piece, the per client average last year, this time was 17,000. We ended the year with a per client average of 35,000, with the majority of our client base raising 5-figure programs last year. We are way beyond on pace to do that, literally just even with crypto adoption fund. If this pattern holds, for instance, we raised the 50 million in the month of December, we should get close to that 5-figure number on a per client basis, maybe even through the pool. So we'll see if those trends hold in terms of the percentage of donors that are opting to give to these client pools, which is a great way to build, kind of raise the floor, especially for the smaller and scrappier nonprofits who don't just come into a bag season with a really big existing audience. But it's in short, going better than we expected so far, and we're grateful for that. And we're going to be pushing really hard to reel in these additional partners and donors to hit that 50 million number and the 100 million on the year. Next slide. Okay, so this is the looking forward piece. Every nonprofit that we serve, for the most part, is in a little bit of a different position. We have, of course, which we always have every year, nonprofits who have signed up with us like in the last couple of weeks and have already gotten their first major gift, some getting them literally the next day. I can think of 2 examples, which is hilarious. One thought it was a scam, which we always laugh about. We have, sorry to call you out, but She's the First. The day after they signed up with us, I think they got an $11,000 gift one time. And they were like, what is this? We had to have a call with their team because they thought it was like a hack or something weird was happening. But in short, a lot of nonprofits who were posting really actively on the day, who fundraised effectively, and not a lot of clients who posted really a ton on the day who didn't get their first crypto donation, who just kind of come on in the last couple of weeks or so, last month even. Those folks who've come in through on our posting, remember again the average donation size being that 12,600. We literally raised 190 individual donations on that day versus having 1,000 clients. So it's like, what does that mean? Over the course of the month of December, there's going to be thousands, hopefully a little over 10,000 as it starts to ramp up. Individual donations getting made. Lots of those will go to the pools, and even in that pool, the crypto adoption fund. As of the end of Crypto Giving Tuesday, we had a little over $300,000 raised for that fund, and at about 1,000 clients, that's a little over $300 per client for that distribution. That'll be happening in the middle of December, that first distro, and will happen monthly after that. These pools are obviously accumulating, but for the nonprofits in short who are posting, who are getting results, like keep doing it, it's great, but remember not to burn out. Don't burn your team out, focus on just the individual days. Start building an active program and just getting consistent, experimenting with different posts about your crypto acceptance, which cryptos you take, the fact people can take the giving pledge on your behalf, sprinkle those throughout. Because like one of, I guess, the big statistics that's worth noting as a takeaway, as a platform on the year and in the years past, we've always raised just about 80% of the donations we process for our charities. By that, I mean 80% of those donations are happening on thegivingblock.com or through individual campaigns that we're running in conjunction with a partner. On the day yesterday, we've never had a ratio this great, but 60% of donations happen on individual nonprofit sites. And all of that goes to say, we did a lot of work driving a ton of crypto users into these funnels around these hashtags and through these partnerships, but ultimately what got the people who gave to actually click and make donations, majority of the time were your posts. So we're bringing these folks in, we're building up this big audience, and then they're seeing someone say, here's our organization and what we do, with an image and visual impact. In short, the folks who are doing a good job on social are getting disproportionately positive results, which is what we want to see, right? We put together these marketing toolkits. We're not doing it to waste everybody's time. So it's great that they usually give through us, but really special to see that we had like the highest percentage of donors actually making selections based on nonprofits who used our marketing kits effectively and posted in accordance with our guidance using the right hashtags, the right metrics, calls to action that said X amount of crypto equals X amount of impact. Those posts performed the best in terms of actual individual giving programs. So it's exciting. In short, keep using your marketing kit throughout the month. You can also think about how to reappropriate some of that stuff for Q1 and start gearing yourself up to build a more long form crypto giving program. Keep educating on tax. That's been super effective. We're seeing those posts really outperform others. They're driving a lot of inquiries to us. And I'm sure you're already aware of this, but most crypto donors aren't aware of these tax incentives. It's a relatively new kind of nascent ecosystem. So keep educating on that. It's a great opportunity to get donors to want to engage with your content. In short, letting them know there are tax incentives to donate in crypto, which we have copy on. And then, yeah, I guess working my way back up, the final piece here again to reiterate is these crypto adoption, or rather cause funds and the crypto adoption fund, which are these pools that donors can give to support giant swaths of our client base. They're really popular so far. And the vast majority of our December volume hasn't even happened. So that is not to say everyone should sit on their hands and wait for a big check as we do these pool distributions. But it means for the nonprofits who aren't necessarily comfortable building a really fast acting crypto fundraising program over the course of a couple of weeks, because they just signed up in November, you're going to be all right. You have a lot to learn, follow along, engage at your comfort level. And for the groups who are posting really actively, those posts are disproportionately driving in donation volume this month. So on both sides of the fence, the more passive clients who are kind of starting slow and the active programs that have been building, especially for a long term. Both of those types of clients that we serve are outperforming the norm right now. So we can try and make sure that those trends hold.
All right.
And then FAQs. All right,
Yeah.
back to you all.
Thanks so much, Pat. We're going to dive into some of these FAQs before we close out with, again, those final calls to action. So hopefully I see all the questions in the chat. Thank you for submitting them in the Q&A section, but hopefully we'll get a lot of those answered. And I think this is one of the most important ones, right? I didn't get any donations on Crypto Giving Tuesday. What am I doing wrong? Likely nothing. If you followed the guides in your end of year fundraising and marketing toolkit, this is, again, just the beginning. As Pat just emphasized, marathon, not a sprint. We actually only had about 120 unique benefiting nonprofits on the day of Crypto Giving Tuesday. A lot of that big volume you saw also, as Pat outlined, did go to these cause funds, the Crypto Adoption Fund, and it was just the start. We are going to see so much more volume of donations come in over the next 4 weeks. So if you're one of those orgs that didn't see anything come in on Crypto Giving Tuesday, if you were not set up in time for Crypto Giving Tuesday, fear not. We are looking forward, and just remember that, crypto is taxed the same as stock. So just like, we're all fundraisers here, on a regular Giving Tuesday, you're not expecting a lot of stock donations that day, but you are excited to talk about the impact because it gets everybody in that giving spirit. It kind of kicks off the rest of the giving season, if you will. Same thing here. You're not going to see a ton of crypto donations on that day, but it kicks it off. A lot of these crypto donors were paying attention. They were seeing what you were putting out. They're going to circle back around and give to you in the next 4 weeks after they've gone to their financial advisor and really figured out, okay, yes, this is how much I need to give, and these are the places that I want to give it. So we really want to emphasize, don't take your foot off the gas in these next 4 weeks. And as Pat said, just making sure it's very consistent messaging is going to be key. If you did not use, oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, for the clients to clarify your statistic, because I don't think I clarified this well either. The 120, I forget what the number was, of gifts that were made directly to nonprofits via their widgets. There were, I think it was 120 something who received individual donor gifts directly made to them on the first day, which is uniquely high. However, the Crypto Adoption Fund, again, benefits everyone. So if you, quote unquote, didn't get your first gift on Crypto Giving Tuesday, you did. Everyone got, as a baseline, a little over $300 through that crypto adoption fund. And again, that was just the first day of the campaign. And that pool is continuing to grow. So remember also that when you're participating on social, you're not just trying to get people to give to you individually. That's great. And that's what happens slowly over time as you build up a crypto audience. But it starts with the crypto audience, to Emily's point, which I'm sure you're digging into more here. You want people in crypto to want to engage with your content, to like what you do, to want to support your mission. That's what gets the gifts to come through to begin with. And it's not just trying to get them to give right now on the fly, like a $20 gift, like a normal individual giving campaign. You're hopefully trying to get those handful of crypto donors who are high net worth individuals to make those larger contributions. And it only takes a handful over the course of a year of those relationships with an average gift size of 5 figures to build a really stable, consistent baseline program that you can then expand into something a bit more sophisticated.
Absolutely. Thank you for clarifying that. Rochelle, do you want to walk us through the cause funds and crypto adoption fund? We're seeing a lot of questions come in about that, and I know we can provide some clarity right now on the spot.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. Yeah, just all those questions coming in. Thank you. And please keep your questions coming in through the Q&A. So in terms of the cause funds and the crypto adoption funds, a couple questions that we've been getting that we wanted to go over is when will we receive donations from the cause fund and the crypto adoption fund? As Pat mentioned earlier, we are shooting for mid-December. And so remember, this just launched. We're just getting into this. And so that's the target goal. And we'll keep you updated as we have more information in terms of that distribution. How do I participate in the cause fund? So if you haven't already, we sent out a form for you to fill out to select your cause fund category. So you get one cause fund category. If you haven't already done that, please fill out that form and we will make sure you are added to that particular cause fund. And just a caveat there, if you didn't fill it out, you already are in a cause fund based on what we know about your nonprofit and your category. So it doesn't affect you getting any distributions or allocations or anything like that. But if there's one particular that you would like to be in, please let us know and we can make that change. I'm not listed on the website under the cause fund category I selected. Am I still eligible? This is a question we keep getting, and it's a great question, and feel free to reach out to us and we'll get that updated for you. But just keep in mind, again, we just launched the cause funds and we're getting all of this on the website. We have a lot of new clients coming in, so we're constantly updating this on a weekly basis. So even if you're not listed there, we will get you listed there. And it doesn't affect your distribution. So that's like the biggest part. So just because you're not on the website does not mean that you're not going to be on the category and be part of that distribution.
Absolutely. So why are my cause fund distributions not showing up in my dashboard? They actually won't. So as Rochelle said, we're shooting for mid-December. You'll get a notification from our team that those distributions are going to happen manually. You won't be able to see it in your dashboard because again, this is a special thing that we're doing on the back end. So if you haven't received anything, any notification of how much or when, nobody has. That's totally normal. We promise we will update you as soon as we can, as soon as we have those dates finalized. If you're not receiving notifications of donations on the dashboard, you need to make sure that you are set up with dashboard access. So we do have a form for you to get that access. Once you are set up and you've signed into TGB dashboard.tgbwidget.com. As long as you've signed into that, you're automatically opted in to the notifications of both when a donation comes in and when that donation is transferred to your bank account. So we will add those users on our end. If you don't have the form on hand, you can actually just email us support@thegivingblock with a first name, last name, and email address of who needs to be added. And then how do you check if you do have a login? Again, visit dashboard.tgbwidget.com and click the I forgot my password, then enter your email address to reset it. If it says no user found, then we need to set you up. So please email us. But again, just want to stress, you're not going to see those cause fund distributions in your dashboard. Any dashboard donation you see is a one-to-one donation, and you will be getting those notifications so long as you're set up with access. Rochelle, do you want to take the donation pages?
Sure, happy to. What can I update on my TGB profile page? So we typically get inquiries to update your page. The two sections that are editable on your TGB page are the mission statement and the why donate Bitcoin section. So you can change that at any time. Just email us the full exact text and we'll get that updated for you. You can send it at support@thegivingblock.com. Keep in mind, it can take 24 to 48 hours. So if you need that up right away, make sure you get it in on time. And then I wanted to mention, what else did I want to mention here? Adding the video as well. So if you don't have a video on there, we highly recommend you put a video because that's a really great way to show the impact of your mission. So they can read the mission statement in the why donate Bitcoin section, but that video can really say a lot. So making those short and sweet, we can add those. The other important note here is in the why donate Bitcoin section, please make sure you are keeping that updated with the impact, what the gifts are doing, because when donors are coming, they're going to come to your page and that's essentially how they're going to be making their decision on wanting to give to you. What is the money doing? And so if there's specific campaigns you have going on, urgent needs, where the money is going, as I stated before, that's really important to keep up to date. And we're happy to make those changes for you. We typically get the question of how do we log in to make those changes? So just know that, again, we make those on our end. Just want to stress that. And then how do I know if my donation page is optimized? Essentially, we sent out instructions when we sent the widget to you that has outlined the key areas. But if you need that again, or if you need a review of your page, we are happy to do that for you. So please just send it to us. It's the support@thegivingblock.com. Essentially, what you want to emphasize is the impact mission. What are the gifts doing? You want to list out the supported cryptocurrencies, which helps with SEO and to inform donors what cryptocurrencies you take. And then the last piece is, I'm totally drawing a blank, listing the supported crypto. Like I could go through this like
having some of the tax benefit language.
Yeah, the tax benefits. Sorry. Thank you so much, Emily. So that's really important too, because believe it or not all crypto donors know the great tax benefits. So it's important that you are educating them on that. And that covers the questions in terms of donation pages. So feel free to reach out if you have additional questions there. We're happy to support you.
All right, so finance and reconciliation FAQs. When are donations transferred to my bank account? They are initiated weekly on Fridays, provided your total donation amount meets the minimum threshold of $50 USD. These transfers can take 3 to 5 days, depending on your bank account. And really important to note, some of you actually have a standalone account, which means you need to log into Gemini's backend yourself and facilitate that transfer yourself. If you have questions about that, please certainly email our team at support@thegivingblock.com to let us know. So that answers the second question. Another question we're getting a lot is the gross versus net amounts in the CSV files that you are pulling out of the dashboard. This is something that our team is working on the back end to make sure that they are extremely accurate for your reconciliation that you're doing. But again, want to drive home when you are working with the donor and the donor facing aspect, you're only ever going to recognize the amount of cryptocurrency donated and not that that USD or cash amount. All right, another thing on our back end that has been happening. So a few of you reported this to us, so we wanted to cover it in this call. the dashboard says my donor didn't get a tax receipt, but they did enter their email. So this is just an error on our back end of the dashboard. Your donor was in fact provided with that tax receipt, so not to worry, but the dashboard is saying otherwise right now, and we are in the process of resolving that. And then we also get this one quite a bit. Why did my donor have to pay to donate Ethereum? So Ethereum has gas fees. Sometimes this is covered depending on the wallet or exchanges that that donor is using. But it is something that is completely out of our hands at the Giving Block, and also will not impact you. The fees will not come out of their donation to you at all. This is completely on the donor side. All right. And I think we have, let's see, how are we doing for time? We're doing okay. All right. So we're going to switch gears and look ahead. And I know that we do have a lot of questions in the chat. I think Rochelle is trying to get to some of those as we go through. But we really today want to cover with you how much we have left of this giving season. You can see Crypto Giving Tuesday was just a few days ago, but we've got a whole bunch coming up that we want you to be involved in. So next Tuesday, as Pat touched on, is NF Tuesday, all about NFTs. 12/13 is going to kick off Causes Week, which is where we are going to highlight each of our incredible causes and all of the nonprofit work that you're doing. So as Rochelle said on the donation pages, and this is just rule of thumb for all of our nonprofits, we want to make sure you understand this, lead with your impact. There is no need for you to be all crypto all the time. We want you to be showing your mission's impact, the incredible work you're doing through photos, videos, impact statements. And that is what Causes Week is going to be all about, is how do we convey that impact specifically in cryptocurrency. So if you don't know what we're talking about, please head to your marketing toolkit and check out the new content section. We'll go through that in a little bit. But tax incentive hard push can begin at the latest 12/27. Actually, internally, you'll start seeing a lot of these communications ramp up from the Giving Block side, since we do have a large crypto donor following, where we are putting out a lot of that language about the benefits of giving crypto instead of giving cash in the last of the year. And then just something that we want everyone to keep in mind as we head into the new year, share your gratitude, share that impact, but we're going to keep the momentum going. For all of our new clients who maybe don't know yet, we do have quarterly all client meetings, sometimes more often than that, like this one. So we'll be ensuring that you have the tools you need to really build out a crypto philanthropy program year round and just stay connected, stay top of mind for this donor pool. All right, some key steps to end of year success. Use your toolkit. I've seen a lot of questions come into the chat. I think it's by some of our brand new clients, so welcome. We're so excited to have you. But a lot of these things are answered in your toolkit. We even have example tweets of thank yous that are done really well. We can certainly put those example donation pages in there as well. But go there, that's where you're going to get so many of these answers. And get loud on Twitter. The most important thing about Twitter right now is to tag us at the Giving Block. This can be done in a very subtle and mission forward way. As long as your tweet has a photo with it, a mission focused photo with it, you can actually tag us in that photo. And a lot of our team members don't mind being tagged either, just so that we can see it. That's why we ask for the tag, to make sure that we are seeing it so that we can respond to it, engage with it, promote it, and help boost your visibility in front of those crypto donors. Again, make sure your donation page is optimized. For our premium clients, especially the brand new ones, but all of them, a lot of us have already had these sessions, but for brand new premium clients, please make sure you have scheduled your end of year strategy session so we can talk strategy. And then Google Ads, we had this session a few weeks ago. We do have a recording and a deck from it. So if you really want to optimize your end of year strategy, that's another step you can take. All right, want to call attention to the new content in your toolkit. NF Tuesday and how to celebrate, Causes Week, and how to get promoted and how to thank a crypto donor. So crypto donors are just people like us. They have their own passions, they have their own causes that they really, really want to support. And the only difference in that initial donor stewardship really is that it can start on Twitter. The relationship often starts there. Sometimes it stays there. So we put together a guide on exactly how to thank a donor. And actually, I think I put in here, maybe it's not in here, but we do have examples, client examples. So Trees for the Future, Build On, and I think we put Mona Foundation in there. Some of our clients who have just done a stellar job at thanking a donor on Twitter. So you can look at those client examples, but we also give you a really easy to see template for how to make that initial thank you happen in a way that the crypto donor will really appreciate. And from there, they can really enter a lot of your normal donor stewardship, but same rules apply. A donor wants to know their ROI. They want to know, how did my gift make an impact? So be sure you're not skipping that step when you are getting donations. And then just calling attention to additional graphics have been added to your graphics folder, and additional social media templates have been for tweets have been added to that guide as well. Both of those things in your toolkits. Michelle, do you want to kick us off with an NF Tuesday overview?
Yes, let's do it. So we have two important things coming up. So NF Tuesday and Causes Week that we're going to cover, because these are two things that we've added into your toolkit that weren't covered in lots of detail in the last all client meeting. So for NF Tuesday, you can kick it off to the next slide, Emily. This is next Tuesday. It's December 7th. It's our first NF Tuesday. But it's a really exciting day where we're celebrating the generosity of the NFT community, which has been extremely generous and a huge part of philanthropy. So in terms of how do you participate as a nonprofit, first go to your toolkit. There is a special page that's dedicated to how to participate in NF Tuesday. There are sample posts that are included in there. For December 6th, the day before, and the 7th, essentially you're calling out, you're excited to participate, and you're really enthusiastic about the generosity of the NFT community. And again, adjust those posts according to your organization. That's what those samples are there for. We also encourage all of our clients to follow the NFT Twitter list that's compiled there. And engage with those generous NFT nonprofits. So we've compiled a list there where you can follow and see all of the things that are happening within this area. And then study our NFT and nonprofits leaderboard, which is also listed there. Again, think about this abundance mindset. So get tagging and thanking these NFTs for their generosity toward the nonprofit community. And you can kind of see like what's going on, who's donating in terms of that. So huge day that's coming up. We have also an NFT page that lists off different auctions that are happening. Our crypto partnerships team is in this space talking to different NFT projects and getting everybody really amped up and engaged. And so again, stay posting, get these posts out, let the public know that you're participating in this, and that's the way to engage. So again, check out that one sheet. And then we'll move down to Causes Week, which is second important new piece here. Thank you. So we've outlined essentially days that will feature the different causes that we have according to Cause Week. So look at this, find out what day your primary cause is listed. And then again, there is a specific page in your toolkit that you can use for Causes Week. It will explain to you how to engage, how to post on that day. Essentially, the recommendation that we have is looking at the different cryptocurrencies, like what the prices are, and seeing if you can make one-to-one impact statements. So 1 Bitcoin will fund the transfer of X amount of apes to the sanctuary or whatever your cause might be. So, use those samples that we provide in there, get posting on those weeks, because we'll be doing a lot on our end to drive energy and support, to really focus on those different causes per days. And question time. All right, we've got, if you have questions, enter them please in the Q&A section. That's where we'll be mainly going off of what questions we have coming in, and we will try to get to as many as we can in the next 10 minutes that we have here. So let's see what we have. Okay.
I know I'm trying to answer some of them through text. All right. Karen has a good one about doing a good job on social. Are posts exclusively targeted at crypto donors the best practice rather than posts that include crypto hashtags but target all donors? This is honestly going to come down to your nonprofit itself. So we always recommend leading again with your mission, with that impact that you uniquely make. But there are some of our nonprofits that have started to get into memes or have a little bit of playfulness with their posts directed at crypto donors. And those do perform well because it is clear to that donor that you really do value that community. So I would say that it is best practice to, of course, lead with that mission. But if you can do it in a way that is plugging into that community, then we welcome that. Rochelle, do you have any thoughts on that one?
No, I think you covered it. I would say that's great.
Great.
Yeah.
David, can we have a link to the giving guide that you referenced? So yes, if you don't have the end of year fundraising and marketing toolkit bookmarked already, please email us support@thegiving-block to ask for access. Premium clients and basic clients have two different versions. Premium clients do get a bit more resources. So there are two different versions. So we can't just pop it in the chat.
Nikki has a good question here. Can you identify any early best practices for organizations in your portfolio whose Crypto Giving Tuesday campaigns performed really well? Excuse me, great question, Nikki. We are actually, as part of this email, sent out a form for organizations to fill out about their success stories. So we're working on collecting a lot of those as we go, and we'll also send it in our follow-up email because that will be a big part of what we want to collect and be able to talk about more in terms of that. And then the other part of that is we'll be publishing a couple case studies throughout Cause Week, where you'll be able to see some really great examples of some things that organizations have done. So we're excited to share more as we learn more, because we're only here at the beginning, but great question. Let's see. I think we've covered some of these, so
Keith asked about the crypto giving pledge, and if donating 1% of their holdings is a good faith understanding, since we of course would not have access to verify. And yes, that's exactly right. Just as with any other donor who makes a pledge, it's the same thing. It is a good faith understanding that they are going to give at least 1% of their holdings. And to be frank, it is beneficial for them because of the tax benefits. So we see at least 1%, sometimes more, come through.
Denise mentioned for educating on tax benefits, is there a good link or brief helpful verbiage we can use for this? Yes, there's actually a tax section in your toolkit that you can use. And then there are also some other resources that we have if you want to reach out. We provided some of this during like the new client meeting and some of that stuff. So we're happy to resend, but there's some really good tax templates that are available in your toolkit, which should cover all of that.
Eileen asked about crypto donors not providing contact information, making stewardship difficult. This would be the same the same approach that you would take with any other anonymous donor. Sometimes donors simply don't want to be stewarded. They just want to give, and you know, you can hope that they circle back. So in this case, there's really no need to really worry about it. But what I would recommend is conveying that impact regardless publicly. So again, take to Twitter. And I know for some of our newer clients, it might be like, why are we talking about Twitter so much? This is where the majority of crypto donors hang out. Keeping in mind that they are Gen Z and millennial, the majority of them, and that they are all about community. So there is a real feeling of community when you tap into this space. And so what I would recommend, Eileen, is if you have an anonymous donor, that's okay, but still conveying the impact that that crypto donor had in a tweet could be very beneficial. We're so grateful for this crypto donation that was able to help us provide XYZ.
Pat, are you still on the call?
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we have a question here about the partners.
Sure.
So there was a reference to 50+ partners who participated in promotions and activations. Can you say more about what this is? How do I know if we were one of those 50+ organizations or whether that is an opportunity for us to pursue?
Oh, got you. Sorry, this is a terminological thing that
Yeah.
the nonprofit industry does that actually bothers me. So we don't do it, but I know it makes it confusing for everyone. But a lot of companies will call their clients partners, and they'll also call their partners partners. When we say partners, we mean partners. So like companies, like organizations in the crypto space that we're working with to get crypto users into our campaigns, participating, donating, etc. Everything from you know, the main newsletters in crypto getting donated to our campaigns so that they drive all their users through for a day, to having like a full end-to-end technical integration using our API, allowing their donors or their users rather to give year round. So when we talk about partners, we have that list of partners. If you go to the Giving Block Twitter account, you'll see our post about like the impact recap from Crypto Giving Tuesday. You'll see the list of all the different partners that we listed off from that day. And now we're working on, you know, 100+ additional partnerships over the course of the month. It's any sort of partnership we have with what we consider a serious and sizable organization in the crypto ecosystem to drive donations through in any way, shape, or form, from an NFT auction happening or an NFT artist donating a series of, you know, NFTs, donated newsletters, a takeover on CoinDesk, like all these different things, Brave ads. All of these are just partners in the crypto ecosystem dedicated to helping you all. They're not like individual one-on-one partnerships between a company and an individual nonprofit. They just drive the users through and then they make their individual selections.
Thanks, Pat. Let's see. How does the 12.5 split between adoption and cause funds? Pat, can you speak to that one?
That one is literally just the crypto adoption fund. So that was based on the campaign day, using it as a sample size. So for Crypto Giving Tuesday, we had 2.4 million in volume, and we had 300,000 in, I think I'm doing those numbers right, in crypto adoption fund donations. I don't include the cause funds numbers there because I don't want to confuse everyone and have them think that they're getting chunked, because all the different cause funds are performing at different levels, but there are pools of money in each of the cause funds. We can send a follow-up note and show where all the different, I guess, cause funds are performing so far, but don't want it to be an indication because they could obviously flip one another over the next few weeks as the majority of volume comes in. But that's just Crypto Adoption Fund itself. So it looks like 1 in 10 donors from a longitudinal standpoint are giving through the Crypto Adoption Fund, which is amazing. And then a big chunk are giving through cause funds, followed by individual selections.
Thank you, thank you. Covered that. Let's see. I think we're trying to answer a couple of these here. Is there
Yeah.
a way? Oh, go ahead, Emily.
I was just going to say there is a bit of a theme on some of the data, like how many nonprofits are receiving donations, how normal is it for you to not receive a donation in your first 3 months? What's the average of size of donations in your first year with the Giving Block? These are all data points that we will be pulling together as we look back at this year. We've never had this many clients, so we don't have those numbers right off the top of our heads on what those average gift sizes are. But I will say not receiving a donation right away is completely normal. A lot of this is about that awareness that you accept cryptocurrency and not getting discouraged. If any of you fundraisers out there have done planned giving campaigns, it can be very similar to that. And the most important thing about planned giving is the consistency. It's just people knowing that it is an option for them at your nonprofit. It doesn't always come through in huge fell swoops from every time that you talk about it, but talking about it consistently is really key. And I know that we're at time. So what we will be doing, oh, go ahead, Pat.
Emily, one thing on that's worth noting, like the best stat that we have for this is over 75% of the clients we serve who have been with us for more than 6 months have raised 10,000 or more. So we want to get to that number where pretty much 100% of the client base is raising 5 figures on an annual basis. That's what we looked like last year. Like really, really close. Like that's what we're trying to get to. So with the cause funds and everything else, again, we're trying to crank those numbers up, but we have, obviously, like Emily said, we're growing very fast. We have an influx of clients who've been with us for, just a couple of weeks or a couple of months. It's an annual contract, so we build it up over time. But like that's the best number we have, and we obviously want to keep pace with that. We want the vast majority of our clients to raise $10,000 plus over the course of a year.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's a great metric. All right, we are at time. So if your question has not been answered, please reach out to us at support@thegivingblock.com. We are here for you guys. We want to make sure that you are seeing success in these next 4 weeks. And we're really, really excited about what the next 4 weeks will bring. So we hope that you stay motivated. Do not take your foot off the gas. This is really just the start, and we're so excited to see the incredible impact that each of your organizations will be able to make in this year and next year and years to come.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.
Bye.